Hi everyone, my name is Mathieu Chassin, and in today's video I want to go through 6 mistakes that beginners make when they submit images into photo contests. And if you stay until the end, I'll give you one tip and one thing to look for if you want your image to be in the top ranking images in your photo contest. Before I start, I just want to put a little bit of context here and why I'm talking about photo contest submissions. I've been in our local camera club, I've been a contest coordinator for the past 3 years. So I've seen a lot of contest submissions, how people ranked, and what images make it to the top, what images doesn't. So I do have a lot of experience in seeing those type of results in contests that are judged with a judging panel. So I just want to share some of my observations. So I'm just one person, and it's just my opinion. And when it comes to contest, there's no rule to rule them all. It's usually they say that the top 20% of images are the good images. So if you can get in the top 20%, your image was good. And from that top 20%, any image in there could end up in the top ranking images. There's so many variables. At the end of the day, photography and photography contests is mostly there's a lot of objectivity, as we'll discuss today. There's a lot of things that can improve your chances of ranking high, but within the winners, there's a lot of subjectivities. One day, the same panel could judge the same images and have different rankings. Maybe not one day to the other, but 1 year to the other, for example. Or, there's variables in contests that are out of control of anybody. The order of image, if there's, if there's an offending image and yours is right after, maybe the judges will, not react as well as yours, as if you'd be following a cute puppy picture. These kind of things are real. There's not anyone's fault. That's what it is. It's there's a little bit of luck in winning contests, but to get in that 20%, there are some very specific things that you have to look for. And the way I see it is you have to make sure that you don't give the judges ammunition to lower your score, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is today I'm going to use Viewbug to pick images to show you what is good and bad in the mistakes in photography. So it is not a publicity, it's just a site that I have used a lot to improve my photography, and I thought it would be a good site to show you. So there's a bunch of contests in Viewbug. There's a lot of people submitting images. So it's not like a contest where judges go through every images. There's thousands of images, and it's a community that starts voting on photos. And from there, I think there's the judges choose the final winners. But the thing is you can see the results. And if you look at my images, you can look at some of the results, and let's go with this one. Or hold on, see the ranking first, and then let's go with monochrome. So you can see the results. This one is view rank. Sorry about that. So you can see the results. I didn't do real well in this one. So this one was top 50%, top 50%. And that's what I mean. There's a lot of votes. Some images will sometimes do well, and other times they won't do as well. Like this one, for example, view rank, it did really well. 365 out of 7,000. That's awesome. Top 10%. So it gives you an idea. If you can land some pictures in your 10-20%, that's awesome, and that's what you want to look for. Those images, what they have that your other images don't have. Why do people are attracted to those images, you know, and what stands out in them. So that's a way to learn. And also looking at other submissions, like we'll do, is another great way to learn. So let's jump into the mistakes not to make. For this video, I took all my images from the cute pet photo contest. So there's a lot of cute images in here, some better than others. So I'll go through some of the images that I've picked in this contest. So the first mistake that I see beginner photographer make often when they submit images is their image have some distraction in them. So when we're talking about distraction, here's an image from Amanda Tyndall. When talking about distraction, you want to be looking for everything that could distract from the main subject. Like in this picture, like this branch here is in front and it's kind of distracting. Even this post here is in front of the horse. So this is distracting and gives the judges ideas of, not ideas, but, you know, ammunition to lower your score. Even the vignette, the hard black vignette in the corners could be distraction. So these are things that you need to be careful of. So look around your frame, make sure, here's another one, another image. Make sure to look around your frame. This arm really pops out, and even the cables in the back are kind of distracting in the shot. It's a funny shot, but still distracting things. You know, the judges will say, well, okay, this isn't great, this isn't great, you know, and gives you a lower score on this. The second aspect that I see often is the image is not clear. There's blurriness, there's blur, sharpness, lack of sharpness and blur in the image. Like this is a great, cute dog image, but the subject is blurry. You know, it's okay to have the background blurry because that's not the subject, but the subject itself needs to be sharp, especially the eyes. I'm not going to go through much, but the eyes, always look at the eyes and the main part of the subject. If the nose is in focus but the eyes is blurry, you're gonna lose some point there. And here's another example, again a funny shot, but it's not quite sharp. You can see there's sharpness in the scarf is sharp, but the eyes and the nose is blurry. The nose, when it comes to dog, the nose is often blurry because there's a good distance between the eyes and the nose, and that will be fine, but the eyes have to be sharp and not the scarf. And here we could also put this in distraction. The chair in behind is kind of distracting, so that could be also in the point number 1. So point number 3 is exposure. When you take images, your image should be not too dark, not too bright, and there shouldn't be any part of the image that is blown out or that you lose information in the shadows. When we say blown out, it's areas of the picture that are too white and there's no, like this one. This, we would say the dog is blown out because you don't see any details in his face. You see his eyes, but you don't see any details whatsoever in this paw and his face. So that technically you would lose point here. This wouldn't be a great image for a contest. Same thing here. You see the details outside, but we don't really care about the details outside. It's really the detail of the cat, and we barely see his eyes. So this one is not exposed enough, and this one is way too exposed, so it's blown out. So something to look for. Number 4 is before I go to number 4, the one thing that often beginner photographer blow out is sky. You have to be careful with the sky. It's a very, very easy thing to blow out, and judges will take points away for that often, unless it's really obvious that it's deliberate. In this case, it could be okay in this case because it's well done, But be careful of clouds in the sky. If they're too white and you start losing details and you don't see the small detail or shadows in your clouds, then you'll be losing points for sure. So the next point is number 4 is image quality. So by image quality, what I mean is your image clear, sharp? Does it have grain or dust spots? So here, dust spot, they're sometimes hard to see, and if we don't look for them, they're easy to overlook, but judges will pick up on those because they're used to looking for dust spot in the skies. Usually they come out in the skies. So you can see, I don't know if you can see in the video, but here, right there, you can see like you see little spots of blurriness or dark spots. Those are dust spots that are on the sensor, and they can come out usually in the skies because of the sky is brighter. So watch for those. And here, image quality, this is a great image. The eye is super sharp, but you can see in the bottom part some grain. Again, I don't know about the video quality, but you can see some grain in this area. In this area, you can see grain around. So this is a great subject. It would do good, but you probably have a hard time, finishing in the top images because there's grain in it. You do well. It's a really good image. Before I move on, there's a 1 point. I'm not sure whether it fits. Probably in distraction, and it's the horizon. Make sure this is a bonus point, or maybe it's number 1. But horizon, make sure your horizon is straight. This is a great image actually, with the bird and the dog looking in that direction, but the dust spot and the horizon will make this image not do really well. But make sure your horizon is straight. Horizon should be straight unless it's really obvious that you wanted to take the image tilted, like this one. This one could pass because it's obvious, it's a distorted angle. This could work, but here just a little bit tilted, that's a fault. So watch for that. Now to point number 5, and I'm not going to expand on this because this is a very complicated topic. I'll probably do whole videos just on this, but the mistake number 5 is composition. We often see composition is how and where you put your subject in the frame. So make sure your subject is well placed in the frame. Like this llama is cute. The light is really nice. Could be a really good image. The horizon is tilted, so we don't like that. But the light is really awesome, but it's way too close to the border. It doesn't make for a nice photo. You should have breathing space here and there on both sides. So that's composition. When you put something in the middle, make sure it's in the middle and not just, because often when you're almost right, that's when you'll get most criticism for it. You're almost right. Like the horizon, if it's tilted a lot, they'll say, okay, that's obvious. But if it's tilted by like 2 degrees, it's just something that they'll bother the judges. So you don't want anything that bothers them. So try to make things as clean as possible. And finally, the mistake number 6 that I see photographer make when they enter images in contests is either the subject is not really clear what the image is about, or they've picked the wrong moment, or expression. Like this cat here, his eyes is half open, half closed. Is he tired or is he blinking? Like it's not clear, and judges don't have time to analyze your images. So it needs to be clear what the subject is, and the moment should be a really good moment. So do I say this now or yeah? So just as an example, I found this image interesting. This is a dog image, and I have the exact same dog with the same photographer, who's Emma B number 8, and she took her dog. Nice dog. This is an okay image. It's not sharp. You would want more sharpness here. The background, you see wires there, so there's distraction, and the color in the back kind of compete with the subject. So is the Christmas theme the subject or the dog? It's kind of hard. So this is kind of hard to see the subject. But look at our next picture. Like, this is a complete different. See, still Emma B number 8. This is a complete different photo from this one, and you see here the color is really nice. The eyes are sharp. The exposure is really nice. Might be a little dark on this side, but I think you could get away with that. Compared to this, the color is not right. Obviously, the dog's not orangey yellow, and it's not sharp. But here it's really well made. This could maybe pass as a distraction. And the only other thing is, it's closer to the right edge as this one. So just cut the image right there to make it even center, and this would be a great image. All right, so as promised, I'm gonna tell you the one thing that can get you in the top 20% of photo contest. And it's not an easy thing, but it is something that you need if you want to do well in contests. And that is what we like to call as the wow factor, or the first impression. You have to keep in mind that judges, they go over hundreds of images, and they don't have time to sit there and analyze the scene, analyze the shot. Sometimes you may have a really great shot. If you look at it, you can see maybe a boy that's contemplating something, and you see that it's a flower that's in the back. And these are awesome pictures, but they're not usually contest pictures, because contest judges go through really, really fast, so they need to be wow. Like this image is a great example. The subject is clear, it's sharp, the contrast, like if you see this image with another image, it pops out. So your image needs to pop out. So that wow factor is hard to get, but it is the thing that will get you in the top 20%. And once you're in that top 20%, look at the 6 mistakes that I've just listed. And make sure you don't have any of those, because any one of those little mistakes might be just, like I said, tiny little mistakes. The horizon's not quite right. Maybe some judges won't even notice. But if a judge notice, it will bother them, and you will lose point for that. And it's always that if. What if the judge doesn't get it? Or what if the judge see it that way or this way? You can't control that. So your goal is to make sure that they don't have that option of seeing if the horizon is 1% or 2% crooked, So that is your job. So when it comes to wowing the judges, like when you go through a bunch of images like this, is which one pops out? For even a reason, this one kind of pops out because of the silhouette, but it's not quite well executed. You want to see like this really pops out. The colors are great. You want that wow. This one is a good image. This is funny. Kind of pops out. Sometimes funny works. Depends on the contest. So this is it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I haven't talked too much or too long. So next time you enter contest, if it's a judging contest, my dog's barking, probably because I have a cat pictures. Just kidding. But whatever contest it is, make sure that you have images that are wow. And if you want to make sure, what I usually do is I pick more images and I want to submit. Maybe if I have to submit 3 images, I'll pick maybe 8. And what I'll do is I'll put them in the folder and, you know, look at them as thumbnails, and I maybe walk away and come back. And the ones that usually pops when I look at the thumbnails are the ones I send. So that's another tip. All right, camera cut off. I don't know where it stopped, so I'm gonna start with where I think I was. So just to wrap it up, you know, make sure that one, distraction. Make sure you don't have any distraction. Look at the borders of your frame and look in the background. Is your horizon straight? You know, look for little distraction. Blur and sharpness in your image. Number 2 that we saw today. Just make sure your image is sharp, no motion blur, or that your focus is on the right part of the image, especially if you have subject. Watch for the eyes. Exposure. Your image shouldn't be too bright, too dark. Like here, it's starting to be bright. The sun is it's early in the morning and the sun is kind of moving through the window, so it's getting bright here. Yeah, watch for shadows, watch for the sky. The clouds is often, I think it's the most often place where I see things being too bright, too overexposed is the sky. So watch for the sky, the clouds, make sure there's details in the clouds. Number 4, image quality, grain and dust spots. Again, watching the sky, make sure if you have a blue sky, especially, dust spot will often pop out because you're shooting at a very, it's bright usually, and you shoot at a very small aperture, and which makes dust spot come out. So watch for blue skies and dust spot. Grain, make sure your image is good quality. Grain will reduce the quality of your image. Composition. I don't even know how to say it. Sorry for my French. Make sure, this is a big topic. I'll probably have many videos on this. But make sure your subject is well placed in the frame, you know, not like this, and you know, watch for where your subject is cut off. You know, if it's the forehead, it needs to be well placed, or you know, parts. Anyway, watch, in general idea, watch where you put your subject in the frame. And finally, the subject, the moment. Make sure that the subject in your frame is obvious. I often, especially in nature shots, sometimes you have a landscape, but you know, you have a field, trees in the sky, but what are you looking at? If there's no element in there that that you have to look at, it's not that interesting. So make sure you have the subject in your frame, you know, a barn or something like that, or a tree that stands out, you know. And also the moment you take your image in, if it's obvious that it's the middle of the blink, well, it's not the greatest image, you know. So watch for the moment, and also make sure you have a clear subject, and your image must wow your audience. And the sun is really getting hot right now. So, all right, I'll leave you with this. I hope this was helpful, and best of luck if you if you participate in any contest. I'll back up a little bit. The sun is really hitting me now. And if you have anything in your, you know, in your experience that you find that you know, that you lost, or you're not sure, maybe something that, you know, you think your experience with, I kind of messed this up. So if there's any experience with contests that you want to share with us, with me, put it in the comment below. If you have further questions, don't be afraid, I'll answer them for sure. So with that, have a good day. See you later. Bye bye.